Opera SM here with a game on the bottom node of the ATV Coalition event this weekend. I am playing the updated deck of the Donderjacht deck. This one is Donderjacht. So it's using Vadrok and Snapdax, Apex of the Hunt this time, subbing that in for Omnath. So Omnath would deal damage based on number of elemental supports himself when you'd mutate, and then recur repeated reverberation to copy a disabled Court of Calling in your hand. Well, Snapdax, when mutate, it deals 6 to any opposing target, and you gain 6 life. So, and it's also a 6-power double strike creature, which is huge, because Kalemne's first ability, the Greater Avatar of Erois token that it spawns, support that it spawns, will let your first creature get +X and haste, where that's equal to your experience counter. So getting to swing with a giant double strike creature and drain your opponent for 6 life each turn will be even faster than the Thunder Oil version. So this is the ThunderHunt version. Vadrok, which has Thunder in his name, and Snapdax with Apex of the Hunt. So ThunderHunt, Donderjacht. Forgive my horrible pronunciation of the Dutch, probably. So this is our starting hand. We are also playing against a Kalemne deck, so hopefully it doesn't apply too much early pressure to us, because this event with opponent getting to do 2 matches for each of your ones is brutal. So what we're going to do is just try to assemble the reverb Court of Calling combo as fast as possible, and use Kalemne's first loyalty ability, which only cost 4, which is fantastic for this event. I think for the bottom node, you want to use planeswalkers that have like preferably 4, maybe if you don't have the good options there, 6 loyalty first abilities, because having to activate like a 9 or 12 or 8 mana first loyalty ability is going to be tough. To have enough mana to have enough time to do it twice, since your opponent is going to be putting so much pressure on you and basically just getting more and more ahead on resources as you are playing, with more matches for mana, more stuff on the board, more creatures to swing. So, alright, so opponent has equal mana gains to us. So with saying that, it is also vitally important that you try to make the best matches possible in this, because every single match counts. You don't want to give your opponent a cascade, because then they can start vomiting a ton of stuff out on the board, and you get behind very quickly. So we're going to take a lot of time to think about our matches here. So some options I'm seeing is we have a white match up on the top in either the 3rd or the 4th row, also one in the 1st row. But I think I would like one of the ones in the 3rd or 4th row better, because the 3rd row would give us a possibility of a green. The 4th row would actually give us a possibility of a green match and a black match, which is pretty cool. The 4th row option would leave the opponent to have a blue match open option, which is not the best. Another option is down at the bottom on the 5th row. Columns were the first things I said if I said row, but 5th row, the one that's blinking on the thing, would give us a red match, which could also lead to a blue match. So not only how much mana we're going to get and the possibilities of some cascades, but also we really need to take into account what the leave is for opponent. It's not a 0, it's not just only what you get. It's like when I used to play competitive Scrabble, you call it like, the leave, and you can kind of think and try to calculate out the net overall value over a couple turns you get for the combination of what you do and what you leave open for your opponent on the board as well. So in the abstract, that can apply to this sort of situation as well. But enough talking. So let's see. Yeah, I think I'm going to take that middle column match and hope to get a green or a black match as well. Just double checking that there's not something too much better here. Good job, one of my coalition mates. Just sounds like they finished out their charges with only one loss, which is not bad for this event. I've had a couple near-death experiences, one game at 4, one game at 2. Just this bottom node can be brutal, so I just think you want to win as fast as possible. But let's see here. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm taking the middle one. I'm just making sure there's nothing else. There's a green match in the second column, which could do something. It could give a white match, but that's not guaranteed. White match on the fourth row doesn't seem that great. Yeah, we're going to take this middle column match here. Great, we got a green and a black match. That is fantastic. Great, our opponent, that was actually a pretty benign matches for the opponent, which is nice. Oh, they played this new goose. I love the art on this goose. It's cool. Let's see. This creature enters the battlefield. You gain 3 life for each creature with flying. Cool. Alright, so what we're going to do now is cycle and look for a reverb. Great, there's our Chord of Calling, so we are very set up soon. We just have to get 11 mana on that chord. You don't need to fill the stored mana to copy it with reverb. You only need to fill the base cost of its mana, but when you copy it with reverb, it will give full mana to the copy, so we'll be able to chord up for a creature costing up to 18, which conveniently Snapdax cost exactly 18. Another reason I like Snapdax in this deck over Omnath is Greg, bless his heart, could play a little better, lots better most of the time. So getting to give a double strike creature in the deck that could be fetched up with Kalemne's first ability and start swinging a lot more pressure, I think will help be a better deck against opposing decks as well. So another reason to like it a lot. So, okay, so we can get a white match in the middle row, which would then drop a blue match 3 and a blue match 4, which is pretty awesome. So pretty sure that's what we're going to go with here. We have 3 loyalty already, which is great. So, and then this match will give us another 3 loyalty up to 6. Next turn we can activate our first loyalty ability, and hopefully the turn after that we'll be able to have enough mana for our chord to start doing its thing. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is actually fill chord up here because I'm going to get 8 plus 3 plus 4 mana is 15. And then chord will be full. That way, if for some reason the opponent, has a monster turn next turn, I will be able to, well, you don't want to have max, you don't want to win an objective without points. I want to have the combo all set up. That way, if opponent goes crazy and I just need to win the next turn before I die, which, this match with them getting 2, something that explosive theoretically could happen sometimes. So I want to be ready. But so we'll get our combo set up and then just activate 2 loyalty abilities of Kalemne and then hopefully win soon. So let's go ahead and take that. Boom, boom. All right. This is great. Greg is not getting the best matches here. We are not going to cast these. Let's see what that blue support is that they have. Heart Piercer Bow. Luckily, we're facing a fairly easy deck here. I've faced some very difficult opposing decks. So it is, I am thankful to have a little bit of a respite from that. Great, so we've got a green match 5, which is available, which is wonderful. So let's go ahead and look with our loyalty ability. We have 10 loyalty, so this is great. So this turn we can take the first loyalty ability, and then second turn we can, or the next turn we'll be able to finish our opponent off. So it's probably better to activate this loyalty ability after the first swap, just in case it would get swapped away, but I want to be absolutely certain since I am commentating and babbling on a lot. But as I pontificate, we can make sure that I don't screw up and not activate this ability, so next turn I can activate the ability and win. Okay, so this is great, and we might even have the mana to just hardcast the second reverb, which is really sweet. So, just looking at this, I'm trying to think of theoretical situations that could come up. And one theoretical situation that could come up is that an opponent drops some sort of white disable the first creature slot, which happened to me in a previous game. So what I would want to do in that point is you would have to drop Vadrok on the board first. That creature would get disabled and then play Snapdax. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the second reverb lined up. Actually, I don't even need the second reverb probably, so it's probably safer at this point. And again, we are just basically trying to, we're ahead, we're playing not to lose at this point. So I think what I will do is actually get the Vadrok charged up in case that is the case. Might as well start to play around things that could potentially cause a thorn in our side for this combo. So let's see, we have activated our loyalty ability first. I'm just double checking, and then we'll need to cast some bigger creatures. So let's go ahead and take this green match first. That's great. And then we have red match that we can take, which is awesome. There's two different red matches we can take. We can either take the one dropping the red from the third column or the sixth column. So again, just wanting to think through thoroughly about things. Let's check and see if there's any advantages to one or the other. They both would, actually the one on the right would create a black match our opponent could theoretically take. And it could also drop, if we take that and another red falls down the fourth column, that could actually give our opponent a red match 3. So I don't think we want that. I think we want the one on the right. It would leave a black match, but that gives him horrible mana, so he doesn't really want that. And then, well, this could do the same sort of thing there, actually. So it would still create that same scenario that I talked about, a potential red match. So yeah, so actually the one on the left is better because that actually stops that from happening. Sorry, I'm kind of rambling. I'm just going to make a move here, and then we will be on our way next turn, winning. We are not casting these. All right. So let's see here. Let's double check our opposing supports to make sure there's nothing when the first creature attacks to opposing creature. We don't need to do that. First of all, we're going to activate this ability so we don't forget. We've activated 2 loyalty abilities. Now we can start to combo off here. So we don't actually need this Vadrok, I don't think. So I think what I'm going to do, actually, is just keep it in hand. We'll have enough room for the reverb. I'm seeing if there's some sort of possibility where I could cast the second reverb or something, if something came up to make that a possibility. Don't necessarily think so, but if that is the case, it would be from a green, taking the green match on top and then getting a red match after that, I think. So another possibility, let's see, we have a black match that could go into a loyalty match, but that's not going to result in, I don't think, a big red match on top, but let's double check a little more. Again, sorry, it's probably aggravating to watch this, but I'm just double checking I'm making the best move possible. So yeah, let's just go ahead and do that, and then we can start to see the combo going off. So there, didn't get a red match, but that's fine. Okay, great. So just talking through the combo and how we make it work. We cast repeated reverb. You'll noted very importantly that we disabled the Court of Calling as the card immediately below that, or the first spell in our hand after that reverb. That way it can continue copying this. So the order we need to do is grab Snapdax first, the non-Vadrok creature. Then we grab our Vadrok creature. Go ahead and cast Snapdax. We'll notice he has haste and he's big. We mutate onto Snapdax. We'll notice now, since I did not understand how mutate works because I'm a mutate noob, but if you mutate onto a mutate a creature that has mutation, both their mutation abilities will trigger, which is awesome. So now we are going to use Snapdax's mutate ability to deal 6 to our opponent, gain 6 life, and use Vadrok's mutation ability to return repeated reverb to our hand with mana. And now we are off to the races. So from now on, everything we fetch with Court of Calling will be a Snapdax. Just you be careful where you click, because it's important. I think once you have already mutated onto Vadrok, if you screw up once, you could be okay to salvage it grabbing a second Snapdax, but just better to just grab all Snapdaxes and pay attention to what you're clicking. So we'll notice now we've got this loop going, and every time that the Snapdax come into play, we get to drain our opponent for 6. Get any reverbs that are in our graveyards, and as you'll see, our Snapdax is growing very quickly. It's already going to be 64 damage that it's dealing, so we don't this will go even faster generally than our Omnath loop. Technically, at some point, you can plug it into a spreadsheet and get all the math worked out. Eventually, since Omnath is kind of like Imminent Doom in that it keys off of the number of reinforcements on it, / number of reinforcements, kind of like the number of counters on an Imminent Doom. It would eventually overtake the damage output as you get into more iterations of this. But that's going to be at a level much higher than PvP health of your opponent. Because as you can see, the opponent started at 128 life. And our Snapdax is already going up to dealing 100 damage extremely quickly. So actually, I think next turn should actually be, this iteration should actually be the last time that we actually need to have Snapdax coming through, because then it's going to be buffed up enough to deal our opponent enough damage here. So yeah, because 56 will deal 112 points of damage to our opponent. So we'll just finish off with the last couple Snapdaxes here to get the triggers, since they're already coming, and then we'll voluntarily stop the loop after that by not casting our Court of Callings here. So we're going to not now, and then swing with our gigantic Snapdax for the rest of the damage. All right. Hope you enjoy this Donderjacht improved version of the of this build. So take care, everyone. Good luck on your last nodes of the AT event this weekend. Let's go for top 2 Goblin Pile and top 10 Tormented, and keep trying to kick butt. All right, take care, everyone.